Welcome back, you guys. I'm Tassie with Shaman Memoirs, and today is my podcast series. And for today's special guest, we do have Changyee here. Welcome, Changyee.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I'm super excited to have you come on. And I wanted you to come on to share your experiences and your stories. And you are not a practicing shaman, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so tell me about like you growing up and your background and your history.
So growing up, actually, there's so many shaman in my family. It's my grandma, my grandpa, my great grandma, my great grandpa, and then even my dad, and a couple of my cousins. So it's all over, and we were taught to help out, and we were taught to don't touch the shaman's altar. If we play, make sure none of our toys hit it. When guests come over to get services, we have to be quiet, and we have to, and just be very good mannered, and to be open minded, but also humble, and not think that, oh, just because we have a shaman in our family, it doesn't mean that we have more right than other people, or that we're better than other people. Or just because we have a shaman in our family, that doesn't mean that you can go start troubles or anything like that. And also, I think it's really nice growing up because, you get the string, and you don't, it is easier in a way when, to going, to dating the, it's really nice where I can go to my grandma and just be like, Grandma, I think I saw something. Can you help me? Or, oh, I feel scared. And then she would just, oh, it's okay. Come here. Let me tie you a string, and let me, hupli ko, and, fix your soul. And it's so easy. And I think people in shaman families like me, we take that for granted, because when I learned that, especially since my grandma's getting older, she can't do services like how she used to. And I'm just used to being like, oh, hey, Grandma, what's up? Like, how's it going? I need ABC 1, 2, 3. And then she's like, oh, okay. And it's very informal. It's very,
Easy access.
Yeah, it's easy access. And then when I find out that when you actually go to ask a shaman that's outside of your family, you have to be very proper. You have to come at them correctly. You can't just be like, yo, what's going on?
Hey, auntie.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Help. Yeah.
And you have to, like for my grandma, when she had guests come, they always had to have, I don't know how many paper or incense sticks, but they had to bring a pile of money wrapped around incense sticks, and then they also had to bring a bouquet of white flowers, and it always had to be white flowers. I don't think the kind of flower mattered. And then depending on their services, they'd also bring probably candles or whatever else that they wanted to bring, or my grandma required them to bring. And growing up, I was like, oh, this is so weird. Why do they have to do that? But then I don't have to do that for my grandma, and I realize it's because I'm her family. She loves me. She wants to help me and protect me, so she can do that. But for other people, it's different. And it's different because I can't remember a lot of the things where I can't tell the difference between if my grandma told me, or if like the spirits that I have told me. I feel like it's melded together. But basically, if anyone's wondering why it has to be different between family and outsiders, is because of consent. And when you receive services, it's important to get consent, because otherwise it's like going to the doctor. Like, why would a doctor or a nurse help you if you didn't agree to
getting the help?
Yeah, getting the help.
Yeah. For your insurance requires the consent to, like, they didn't just randomly pull you off the street.
Yeah,
unless
it
it's
doesn't work
emergency
like that.
services, but then you have to fill it out later. You are absolutely correct. Like, this is why it's so important to have shamans in families, because when you do need help one day, and it's not like you're going to need help every day, that's the kicker, but when you do, and you don't have anybody, it's very hard, like for even for like my own family, for the 10 years when I put my shrine down, well, now they have to go to someone else. And, like, and so we used to just store and stock up on all of our incidences for one day when we can have the ceremony done, and even for me, when I wasn't practicing, I never thought of that I should have a ceremony done, I was not in that headspace. I wanted to run as far as I could from it, definitely. So, but definitely one of the attributing factors to me coming back and raising my shrine was I saw how difficult it was for my own family to get shaman help. And I was like, I'm such an idiot because I am a shaman. I should just re-raise my shrine. But it seemed so impossible, that task, to just re-raise it, It just seemed really hard at the time. So I totally agree. Like, we definitely take for advantage, not just when we do have shamans in the family, but that the Hmong people, we happen to be a ethnic group that still really upholds our shaman roots. Even though we've moved so many countries, we've lost so much of our history and our language, we still, to this day, in modern times, practice shamanism. Because there are so many people who come to me and their people just no longer do it. They no longer practice anything. So nobody has any memory, or they don't know what they're supposed to do either, but they're afflicted. And I can see that they have the abilities to do magical related things or holistic things. But so that's why they turn to other modalities like Qigong or Reiki, because that is the closest thing that they have something to study, whereas they don't have their actual ancestors and their proper methods anymore.
One thing I want to add too, even though you do have family in like who are shaman, you should still kind of give them that respect as well, like, because yes, Tassie's my sister and everything, but it's not every day I'm asking her and little things like, oh, I had a dream about this, what did that mean, like, at the end of the day, she's still my sister, she's still human. So when we do hang out, it's just us hanging out. But only if, like, for myself, if it gets really drastic or I start seeing things when I'm trying to go to sleep and things, then I'll mention it to her, because it got to that extreme. If it's just things that I hear and I'm like, I just gaslight myself and tell myself it was nothing until it happens repeatedly, then I'm like, okay. And then whenever I do ask Tassie, and when I'm serious, I'm not asking about auras, I will ask her, like, hey, can I ask you a question? It's still about the consent. Even within family, I want people to understand that you should still proceed it with, like, respect as well, and also ask to see if their consent, to see if they can help you at that moment too.
Yeah, and I always tell my family straight up if my spirit guides want something, like if it's but even in general, when I'm out and about and I'm around people who know me and they know I'm a shaman, they will ask me questions and then I'll answer them honestly if my spirit guides allow me to answer them. And you don't have to do the whole fee and service and charge, right? But when it is something that's pretty heavy and pretty big, then my clinic will just stop talking. And then even if I'm asking them, I'll hear nothing, because that's when they want the respect, and that's when you have to do it properly and you have to go to see me properly. So, even for your spirit guides, there's limits on when they're like, no, we're done with this conversation and they're just done. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I will say, when I was younger, I was a naughty kid, I would say, and then the spirits that I have with me go tataplawan, so they're very problematic, and they started out pretty toxic, I would say. And
how bad were you?
Yeah, I was curious. You gotta tell us
I
more
was
stories.
really bad. So growing up, I never knew that, like, the spirits picked people. I just watched my grandma, and seeing the people come see my grandma, and she perform services for them, and she's a really good shaman. Not to say that other shaman aren't like good, but just seeing what she did, it was so amazing. And like seeing her work her magic is, and then the people like, oh, how did you know that, how did you do that? And then they'll be like crying and like bowing at her feet. Not that she accepted it, it's just what happened, that the people felt so like heard, thankful they did that. And I was like, oh, I could be like my grandma one day, and I can help people and I could save people. I could be this great hero like my grandma. And then I told my grandma, and she's like, that's not how it works. And actually that's a bad thing. It's actually a taboo to want to be a shaman, because it means that like why would you want to be one? it's either one, you probably want to use the spirits to like do good and bad things, because the truth is we're people, we're emotional, and we, life is hard. Who's to say that when you go through something really hard and someone did something really bad to you that you're not going to seek revenge? Or maybe you were a good person but you fell to like hard times. Like, for example, someone can make six figures or be a millionaire and then all of a sudden they're down in the dirt. Who's to say that once you lost all your money and you're desperate that you're not going to go do something and like sell
drastic?
Sell whatever to get whatever money to get by. So that's why it's seen as a sin to want to be a shaman, because life will throw curveballs at you, and if you're not a balanced person, you could hurt yourself really bad, and not just yourself but the people around you who are innocent and who have nothing to do with it. And so when she told me that, I was like, oh,
understanding that responsibility that comes with it.
Yeah, and you have to be very accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable. But in my head, when I was younger, I was like, oh, that's no big deal.
You saw the other end.
Yeah.
Like the superficial right in front of you, what you can observe.
And so I became very like arrogant. I became very just like elitist, I would say. I don't know the correct word.
The Ting Shanning show.
Yeah, and I would just be like, oh, I got it, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And then it came to where like it was disrespectful to my grandma, because at the end of the day that I thought I was all big and bad, but I went to cry to her to help me, and it's like, oh, you thought you were all big and bad and now you need someone to save you. Like, now
I was going to say, as you were telling your story, the thing I was thinking of was, if you are not humble, they will come to humble you.
Yep.
Yeah, you will become humbled. So it is, like, it's so true. Like it's kind of like, there are some people who can just say humbling things, but they don't genuinely feel it. Like, you think the spirit guides don't know? Like they know everything. You don't even have to say it. They know it. So that elitist mentality and everything. There are certain types of spirit guides where that is their personality, so that's why I was like, oh, are you a Ting Shanning show? Like, you have a lot, right? Because like that is the Buddhists and that is their personality. They're very much on a pedestal. Their stuff does not stink. It's just you the only one who stinks. But but that's a really good story to share.
Yeah. It comes very full circle. And your grandma, she sounds so cool. I want to sit down and have tea with her.
Yeah, she's a gangster. And I realized the truth is, the truth is your name, they do reflect you, who you are. And I have to admit to myself, at the end of the day, they wouldn't be how they are if I myself wasn't truly like that. And at the end of the day, I couldn't control myself. So it led the spirits with me to be uncontrolled. And so that's why I say that they're problematic, they're toxic, they're, they want the smoke, and
guns blazing.
Yeah, and I just had to find out the hard way.
Yeah.
But I will say, I did know that I didn't want to hurt my grandma. I didn't want to hurt my family. So I really had to, how my grandma says, a lot of shaman, you have to really discipline yourself, because no one, even a shaman, they don't know the future. They can't predict everything. They're not like all powerful beings. They can't fix everything. So you have to really like discipline yourself, because it's like, bad things, bad freak accidents could happen. But at the same time, like, did you do everything that you could to prevent that bad thing from happening too? If that makes any sense. And that's not to like victim blame, but it's also, again, you have to take accountability. And so when I couldn't control myself, I did tell like myself and my spirits that whatever we did, it cannot get back to my grandma. It cannot hurt my family. It cannot come back. Whatever it is, I have to pay the price. I have to handle it myself, so that if I do really need help, then I could go to my grandma. And she also said that you have to be truthful. Being a shaman is like 0 to 100. You have to be honest all the time. And the true test of what she told me is that if you can raise your hand to the sky and say to the sky and to the earth that this is the truth, then and you admit your mistakes, you tell just everything that you can, then it will be okay. But if, you hide anything or you're dishonest, then it will come back. It will show in some way. So I always kept that in mind. And I want to say that I don't think it got to her. A lot of the things that did get to her, I will say it was out of my control. And I do raise my hand, and I can say that at those times I was being a better person. A lot of like scary things happen to me. And sometimes I'm like, did that really happen? Like I gaslight myself like, oh my God, did that really happen? And I think to myself, this is like what we see in the movies. How did it even happen? But I told my grandma honestly, like I was trying to be good this time. It wasn't me. So that's the only times when I go to her. But everything else, I have to understand that by top law, I want to go mess with something, I have to pay the price.
Okay, I need to know. What did you do?
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm sorry. I need to know.
Like you keep dancing around.
I know.
What are the details?
So
It's okay if you don't want to say it.
no, it's okay. Actually, I've posted, the Hmong Ghost Stories page on Facebook. I've posted a couple.
GJ probably knows that. I'm like,
yeah,
GJ, what are you talking about?
I've posted a couple of my stories anonymously, and
I'm listening.
so I guess a couple of examples that I have that either I was able to handle myself or my grandma had to step in. Like
Really quick, when you say handle it yourself, you don't have an altar, do you?
nope.
Okay, so then you just sat there, meditated on it, and went into the spirit world. Were you ever afraid of possession?
No. I think it's that arrogantness of my spirits. Like they're very confident, and I'm, a lot of people have fight, flight, freeze, and the other instinct. My instinct is to fight. Like even if I know that I'm gonna lose, if I could get one punch in, I'm willing to do something to hurt you back. And so they've always felt confident. Like I've always felt pretty confident that I can protect myself.
Okay.
And maybe I should do this. This is also disrespectful to my spirits, but like I don't burn incense or paper or candles for them. I don't do anything for them.
Typically, you shouldn't. If you're not actively practicing with a shrine and a teacher, and you don't have any of that, you shouldn't just randomly burn it unless you are. The exception to that is if you're doing it for them. Like let's say you have a lot of depression or you're super angry and you're wanting to burn the world. That's usually when I recommend burn 3 incense sticks just for your Huaneng. And when you're doing it though, you tell the universe this is for your Huaneng, to not make you so angry, to not make you so sad. That is the exception. Generally, I never burn money for them though. They only get it during the new year. Or else I never burn money for my spirit guides. So like I totally hear you, but go on.
Yeah. And then my grandma told me too, like when you don't have a master, you don't have an altar, and when you're starting out, you have to clean yourself and your spirit guides. But the truth is, you're not super connected to them. She says the reason why I shouldn't burn incense and money is because they may get it, but what if there's like some demon trailing behind them and they get it too?
Grandma. Yeah.
And then so it's like you don't want all these random spirits that aren't your spirit guides to get that money, get that resource to help them. Or there's also spirit guides that, yeah, they love you and they are for you, but that doesn't mean that they're also spirit guides who should be with you.
Yes.
And you might have to tell them to go away. And so you don't burn incense or paper for them, because if one day you and them cannot share the same path anymore and you have to split, then it's easier to split when they don't have anything. There's no strings attached.
So what did you actually do?
So
Like what happened?
my spirits, they like to like run around the world, and they just bump into things and they don't care whether they're like, it's like, say you're walking on a sidewalk and you bump shoulders with someone. Unfortunately, like at that time, my spirits were the type to be like, oh, you bumped into me, or you don't know who I am, don't mess with me, just let me go.
I picture them the typical high school bullies.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
jocks. And then they're picking on like other people. Oh my god, dang.
Yeah, and they are bullies, and they will go around the world and do that, and then it brought a lot of unwanted attention to me. And it, obviously that's going to piss off a lot of spirits, and they're going to come and be like, hey, what's the big deal? Or they're going to be like, okay, I don't care who you are, you don't know who I am. And then it would be a face off. Like one of the scariest encounters I've ever had. I want to say that it wasn't my fault, but at the same time, I know that it was my fault because, again, I already know how my spirits are. So I don't know if anyone knows or used to read from this, but this website called Creepypasta.
No.
And it's like Mongol stories but on steroids, and people from all over the world, they post their scary stories. Growing up, I've always knew that Hmong shamanism was very similar to Native American shamanism, and I've met a lot of Native Americans and we compare things, but I never knew like anything really deep about Native American shamanism until I started reading these scary stories, and I found out that they have this creature called a skinwalker.
I've heard of skinwalkers. I don't know anything about it, but I've heard the term.
Yeah, and so basically what they are is they're Native American shamans, or this is the folklore that I was able to research. They're Native American shamans who wanted more power, and to get more power, like, for us, we sacrifice animals, and in exchange, we help the animals to reincarnate and to have a good life after. But these Native American shamans, they didn't care. They sacrificed people. They ate people. They cannibalized. They did a lot of like really bad
It's basically
black magic.
Yeah, it is it is still a form of shamanism, but basically you're bartering with something else.
Doing all that bad stuff came back to haunt them, and they turned into what is a skinwalker. And
What do skinwalkers do?
so they're like the monk version, I guess, of a Pinyuwai. Like they eat people, they take people's energy. They can never become human again because
They look kind of humanoid, but it's almost like animal-like, like they're hunched over and things. And from what I've seen, because I've seen like YouTube videos about creepypasta and things like that, but like skinwalkers, they'll pretend to be someone else.
I was gonna say, because when you said skinwalker, my spirit guides told me it's somebody who what's that term when you
Doppelgangers?
doppelgangers, like they can turn into something, but it's not really them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why, like, when you hear voices and like if it sounds like your dad and you know he's not there, it's a skinwalker.
And the point of it is to lure you and to trick you.
yeah, so that it can.
It's kind of like the tigers.
Yeah, I was just reading the story, and all of a sudden, I felt this presence run from like across the world and came right into like my backyard.
Okay, so that's what you mean by your spirit guides. They travel the world. Go on. I was gonna say something, but I was like, never mind.
And then, like, in my mind, I'm like, I didn't call for it. Why is it in my backyard? And I was scared because I've lived with my parents for a long time, and I'm like, oh, if it was just me in my own house, my own apartment, then I would fight with it one-on-one. But this is where my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters are, and I'm like, oh, I can't let it hurt them, And I try to make it go away, but he didn't go away. And then at the time, I truly felt like I didn't do anything to it, so I don't know why it came to me. And still now, I do feel like at that time, I really did try to discipline myself. And I didn't see any harm in reading scary stories, but when I did more research into it, they say that that's just how it is. Like, if you think about them, if you just wonder about them, they just come running. It's just something that they're able to do so that they can catch their prey.
Sorry, y'all, for everybody looking into Skinwalkers.
Yeah, I would say don't.
Summoning them just because you're thinking about
Well,
them.
because like what my spirit guides are telling me, it's kind of like when you open up like okay, the only thing similar to that I've ever encountered that I tell myself to stop thinking about it, because my spirit guides are similar but they're actually dragons. And so what dragons are very good at is finding things. So, like if I'm really wanting to know something about, like, you're telling me about a neighbor who I'm never going to meet, I'm never going to know. And then they'll just go off and show me all these things about your neighbor. So the one thing I will that my spirit guides always tell me to stop doing, this is the only time, it's aliens. Aliens, because every time I think about aliens or I look for an alien, they always, without a doubt, no matter where I appear in the vision, they will always turn and look right at me. So then it dawned on me, they can see me. So my spirit guides have always told me to stop looking at aliens. So when you're talking about that, that's what I am thinking about. And that's how come when people see and watch scary things and things happen to them, especially when they're real stories, it's because it's real. And if you tap into that, and that's why shamans, when they go shining, when they go in shining and stuff, they usually use their tools or their shrine to protect themselves. So that's how come I was curious if you were ever concerned about possession, because a lot of people that I know who have become possessed, they were doing what you do, where you are trying to fight things in the spirit world, but without the proper things to protect you. And then you're going to meet something too strong one day, and that's what leads to possession usually. So just don't do it, you guys. Don't do it. But it's funny because somebody once told me about a story about them and their friends used to do something known as magic. And I was like, what is magic? And they were like, they would just sit there and in their mind, they kept fighting things. And I was like, this is a one-way ticket to possession. So yeah, but anyways, go on with your Skinwalker story. So then it came.
Yeah, it came. It was at that time too. We had a white lab, and he was very spiritual. I think he protected me. Like every time I took him outside to do his thing, like I would see this thing just like run back and forth. And at that time, I didn't believe that it was real. Like even though my spirits had told me it's here, I was just like, it can't be real. It can't be real. But everything just matched up to where I saw it run. My dog would go over there and pee there, because like dogs, they're very good at protecting people, and they do like mark their territory. So when I saw it run over there, my dog would also run over there, cut it off. If it ran back, my dog would go over there, cut it off. And then that's where I was like, oh, it is real. And it kept getting closer and closer and closer. I will say this is where I do give credit to my guides, where I don't know why they feel so confident, but they do. And so it tried to threaten me. It was like, oh, if you come with me, then I will leave your family alone. And then...
Did you hear a voice? Did you see an image? Like, what was it?
I heard something in my head, and a lot of things flooded in my head. And I would see this image of a very tall Native American looking man. He's very skinny, emaciated, and he's like 6 foot something tall.
It's like Slender Man.
Yeah, I guess like the human version of Slender Man. And I would just see him standing in the field, and I'm like, oh, this is you. But then my grandma told me something when I was young. She said that if they see you and you see them, it is scary, but that means that they're not able to like take you on. You guys are on equal standing grounds. And so I'm like, okay, why are you making a deal with me? Otherwise, if you're trying to scare me, you would have taken me already. You would have done something already. So that tells me that I have something I could use to fight you. So now I'm not scared of you, because I know that if you were, I hate to say that, but if you were better than me, you don't need my permission. You could just come do what you want, like, like a big boss, but you couldn't do that with me. So like we fought each other in my head, and for some reason he liked that. and he respected that I could fight him off. And he actually told me a lot of things about himself. He
So,
told
like,
me
over time during the fight? Like, when did he tell you this?
it was after when he realized that like he couldn't convince
He would come
me.
back and, like, tell you things.
Nope, it was just in that one sitting. It was really
Oh.
weird. Like I was standing in the backyard and I was like just standing like this and I couldn't move. But he said that something about what I did or how I went about things made him respect me. And in turn, like this is only the one time that he's gonna tell me everything, like I guess about his life and just how he is, and maybe like we just connected like that on our path, and that's it. And I do believe him because after that, like nothing has happened since then, and I've never encountered anything like
He
him.
left you alone then?
Yep, he left me alone. But yeah, he told me he was like 500 years old, and he told me why he did it. He was like he was a Native American shaman. He was kind of like the black sheep in his tribe. He was also an orphan, and he just did it because like he didn't have anything. He was like, why not? Usually when you turn into one of them, you're not able to keep your, I guess, human consciousness. There's like levels to them. And he told me he was able to keep his consciousness and he actually has a human form. Unfortunately, they're not able to completely turn into human. If you do see them as a human, that's just them like using their magic. But their true form, it is human, but something's always off. Like they'll have pointy ears, or for some reason their teeth would just be like really sharp, or they'll be really tall or really skinny, and they're probably like, I hate to say this, no like offense to them, but like they're like homeless people.
They're like homeless spirits.
No, like they actually masquerade as homeless people.
Oh, okay. I was like, what do you mean they're homeless? Okay. Oh, okay. They masquerade as homeless
Yeah.
people. So, what? Since then, though, you haven't had any interactions with it. Okay. Well, that's good, though.
And that scared me a lot, and thankfully I was able to handle it myself, and so it didn't go to my grandma.
Yeah.
But the one that did go to my grandma, again, I don't think I did anything, but knowing how my spirits are, they ran and they did something. So I remember I was dreaming, and you know, when you dream, whether you're a shaman or a regular person, you have to take your dreams with a grain of salt. And in this dream, I was being chased like all over the world by this pair of sister Pansonga. One's like this tall, the other one's like that tall. And for some reason, they were twins, even though they didn't look alike at all. And they were very scary to me, you know, like the typical, they wore a white dress, they had like blue-gray skin, they had like long tongues and long hair, and they just looked very scary.
Did they look like they were of Asian descent or like European descent?
I think they were Asian or European descent, but yeah, they just kept chasing me, and I couldn't run far enough. Like no matter what I did, they were like right behind me. And then when I try to run, it would be very slow. I feel very heavy, as if something is like pulling me back.
Yeah.
And then when they reached out to touch me, I got scared and I woke up.
Okay.
And I was sleeping. I love to sleep on a sofa or in the living room. I noticed that I was sleeping on the sofa, and our sofa was right under a window. When I woke up, it was right at sunrise. And I was like, oh, it's just a dream, and my dog was barking. At that time, I didn't connect that he was barking because of something spiritual. I was just like, oh, he probably needs to go do his thing. So I took him outside. And when I took him outside, something told me to just look under the window, look by the window where I was sleeping. And when I looked at it, I saw these weird shaped footprints, like something was standing there. And it didn't look like like a person's foot, and it didn't look like a shoe. It was just like a weird shaped footprint. It told me to like, something in me told me to like follow where it went. And my dog actually stuck by me. I didn't tell him to do it, but he stuck by me, and then he also followed me, and I saw the footprints lead from down the porch and into our yard, and it came from like so my
Was it
parents
like dirty footprints or like?
nope, so it was just snow. It was just like an imprint on the snow.
Oh, okay. So okay.
And it was really weird. And when I saw those footprints, I'm like, oh, something was here. I wasn't just dreaming. And then I was scared. And so I remember I called my grandma right away, and she came and she was able to see the footprints too. And my dog at that time, he was like going up and down, following the footprints, making these weird circles. And then I told her, is it okay that he does that? Because I'm not sure if that like will cut them off or if they can follow his footprints to come back. And she's like, no, it's okay. That's him protecting you. And I was like, okay, that makes me feel better. And she said she'll like do something to keep them away, but that I was really lucky because if my dog hadn't did that and I hadn't called her when I did, they would have came the next night and I probably wouldn't have woken up from my sleep.
Wow. So then your grandma, she went to go one day and took care of it.
I don't know what she did. She just told me she would take care of it, and I never saw them again after that either. I've seen her do a couple of things where she goes, stands in front of her shrine, and she chants and she lights candles and all that. She doesn't do like a big oning, but I didn't see it. She just told me she'd take care of it, and so I never saw them again. But that was also one of the most scary things I've ever experienced. And that was where I wasn't able to handle it, and she actually had to step in for me.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, like definitely. That just reminds me, like back when I had that dream, and I've mentioned it in other videos before of that ghost scare like came out of my dream. That was probably my scariest when it came to dreams. But, you know, like growing up as a kid, I always had very traumatic dreams. But that was probably the worst as an adult. And for a ghost to come out of there. But I ran to my teacher's house. And then she was already on when I came in. And then she sensed the ghost and she got rid of it. I was like, I'm going to go home now. So, yeah. Sometimes those things are very, very creepy. But, you know, like, that's what I mean, though. Like, I know we cannot be the only ones who have these terrifying dreams and they come out in real life, you know, and having a shaman is amazing at times. It is just so nice to have that, you know, open door and that open pathway to somebody that you can connect to. And this is why it's so important, even in our, you know, younger generations. We will be here one day, you know, and so they need to start to prepare for their own generations too. And that's why it's so important that we share our stories, you know, like as wild as our experiences are, you guys, trust me, there's someone who has an even wilder story than us.
And I want to say MVP to your dog. What's his name?
His name is Tech. He's not with us anymore.
Oh, poor Tech. He sounds like
Was he an
such an
albino?
angel.
No, it was just
Because that's pretty rare to have a white Labrador.
No, yeah,
he was
there's
kinda
like gold, and then there's white and black,
Yeah.
chocolate, they call it.
Oh yeah, the chocolate labs. I've never seen a white one. So I was like, is it
It's just
an
lighter
albino?
shade of tan.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
It's not like complete white, not like Naru.
I don't know. I was like, Naru? Like a Naru? Yeah. The other night, I actually slept over at GJ's house just yesterday. Did you wake up when Naru came? No. We were sleeping. And I remember as we were laying there, I was like, because I sleep by the window and GJ sleeps over here by Naru's bed. And Naru usually sleeps right there. And I remember as I was laying there, I was like, oh, something's probably going to come, but it's okay. And then I went to sleep. Well,
This is my first time hearing this right now. This happened yesterday. What, Saturday?
oh, yeah. Oh, Friday night. It was actually
Friday.
Friday night. Yeah, wait.
You didn't tell me this.
Did I sleep at home yesterday? Oh, I did.
You
sleep
did,
At home
you
yesterday. My life. Okay. And so like, yeah, no, I didn't tell you this. Okay. But like, we were like hanging out, whatever, all day. And then I remember I was in the middle of the night, I was sleeping, and then all of a sudden my spirit guide told me to wake up. And then I remember I woke up, I was like, oh my God, it's like probably 3 or 4 in the morning. I was like, why am I up? But then as I was sleeping on my side, and then all of a sudden I finally turned onto my back, and then Naru comes running. For some reason, he left his bed and he went to the living room, and he sleeps on the long chase part by the window way far in the living room. All of a sudden, all you hear is Naru charging into the room. He is charging and he's barking. That's kind of very surprised you,
I did not
you were
hear
not
that.
awake.
No.
Yeah, Naru was barking fiercely, and then I saw the woman standing. Sorry, GJ. I'm so sorry. Close your ears, GJ. This is GJ's real first time hearing about it. But then there was this woman who was very slender, and she was standing there looking at GJ. And then as I was getting onto my back, I saw her, and then Naru comes running in, barking fiercely, and then I felt all this wind push past us through the windows, and she took off. And yeah, and I was like, okay, thank God for Naru, and I fell asleep again.
Dogs, we don't deserve them.
Thank goodness.
Not Lintex.
And Naru, he's such a butt, like, because I was over at her house, and he does this annoying thing where wherever I'm walking, he's right next to me. So he has the new favorite big toy. It's a stuffed duck, and he carries it in his mouth. And everywhere I walked, no matter how far I walked, the toy was right against my leg the whole time because he's walking right next to me. And then I was like bleaching her hair, and he just stays right there. So I had to like spread my legs to bleach her hair because he will not move. But anyways, so Tech, I'm sorry to hear about Tech, but no, like I'm telling you, dogs, they really can see. Cats can too. Oscar just don't care. But cats and dogs, they really can see spirits, especially when it's something really bad and they do mean ill intent to you. So I definitely, if you're able to, it's always so good to have a pet because they can protect you.
Do you, I have to ask, do you see like these ghosts, these spirits as if like it's me and you right across you? They look like this? Mm-hmm. Oh.
I can see them just like us, but I could also see them like in the spirit world. And then I can also feel it. And then when I start to pay attention and focus on where they are, then I see them.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. But the ones that look like us, they're really annoying. They're just annoying. It's kind of like, because I remember I used to have this conversation with my sister a long time ago, my other sister, and she used to be really interested. And I explained to her, it's not that interesting because it's just like everyday things, you know, like when you see a squirrel all the time, you're never going to be like, oh my God, it's a squirrel. I saw 3 squirrels today. You know, like they're just there, you know, like the only time it's very more interesting is when they're right next to you or when they want your attention. That's when it's like, okay, no, I'm not safe anymore, you know, like, but for the most part, they're pretty much they're always just around. I would say Michael, for example, when he tried to take on human form, that was the scariest for me. Yeah, that was because he's never done that before. He's never tried to do that before. And he tried to come as my brother, but his head was missing. So you just saw a body.
Well, that is scary.
Yeah. And he couldn't get my brother's proportions right because at the time my brother was more slender and he was fit, you know. But because of that, he tried to make big muscles, and it looked like, you know, like a bodybuilder's body, but with no head. But I knew my brother wasn't that buff, and he had on the same clothes as my brother, but he couldn't make the head come because this was before I was going to raise my shrine. Leading up to me raising my shrine, he was trying to get me to calm down, to not go and raise my shrine, and he was trying to show me that if he can come as a full body, that he would protect me as a real person. And I'm like, I'm okay. You just made it worse. Okay?
You know, like when they come in like that, it made me picture of like a really bad Photoshop. Like, you know, when you're just looking at that is so totally Photoshop.
Yeah, or you're like, because they can't ever fully become. They miss the details in becoming a real human, and that's how you notice it. Even in your dreams, if you pay attention to your dreams,
Yes.
You know when you're being haunted or it's a test or there's a demon around because. Like, I'll sometimes see demons not anymore, but back then I used to see them in nice suits. And then for some reason, I will end up looking at, like, the stitching, and it's all cricket stitching. And then I start to realize, why is the stitching cricket? And then I'll start looking around, and everything's messed up. And you're like, yeah, the spell is fading, and I'm starting to realize and wake up, which means I'm going to die soon if I don't get out of here. So it's just terrifying.
No, for real. Like, I'll say this really quick. I had this one time a dream, or I was playing the guitar really late at night. One, I'm not good at it, but I was playing it, and then I went to bed, and when I was laying in bed, I was recalling me playing the guitar, and I remember as I was recalling this, there was a woman standing next to me, and she was just listening to play guitar. And then it finally hit me. I'm like, I live alone. I'm like, wait a minute, why am I recalling this woman who's sitting there watching me play guitar? So I'm like, oh well, and I went to bed. And that night I had a dream. I was in this, I was working at this library, and this woman comes, like, people come and go. It's a library, people are coming and going. She walks in, and she's like, she looks weird. And there was another man, but she looked really off because she didn't look normal. And what I mean by that is that she looked like she went out to the club last night and never went home, and she looked like a hot mess. And I looked at her because she was wearing her black dress and makeup smeared and everything. And I stared at her, and I remember very, like, staring at her. I'm like, why do you look like that? And she was, like, very curious about the library I was working at. And she said, what soil is this built on? What kind of soil is that? And even her question was odd. I'm like, I don't know. I can ask the other people and find out. But later I found out, yes, I confirmed it with Tassie. I'm like, yeah, I had this weird dream, and I had this weird thought that someone was there with me. And Tassie's like, yeah, you got something there. I'm like, God.
So right now, I know you've mentioned that you're not a practicing shaman. What are you waiting for?
I wasn't waiting for anything. The truth is, because of what my grandma told me, that, like, oh, you can't cut things, you can't be arrogant, and you're not supposed to want to be it because you could turn evil one day. I never thought that I could actually be one, because I'm like, oh, I've done all these bad things, these things that I'm very embarrassed about, that I'm ashamed of. I've put my family in danger, whether that was consciously or unconsciously. I'm like, oh, I felt like I didn't deserve to, like, go to heaven. I'm like, oh, I got my one-way ticket to hell. And I didn't think that I was good enough to be one. And so I had accepted that
You weren't going to be one.
I wasn't going to be one. And then I had this incident where I was very negative. I would say, people who are, like, energy vampires, I think I became one. And I didn't like that about myself. And so whatever spirits I had, I told them to go away. And for the longest time, they left me alone, and then I left them alone. But for some reason, we kept, like, intersecting. And I had to go through this incident in my life where I accepted that, oh, okay, maybe there are some spirits around me. But I still didn't think that they were kuning or anything like that. I was just like, oh, I just have a sixth sense. I was just born weird. And even though people told me, like, you check all these things of becoming a shaman, like a lot of the old ways that people can tell if someone's a shaman is one, if they had, like, major health issues when they were young. I have that. I used to have seizures. And two, if you get a name change, I also had that. Three, if you were, like, a ghostly or haunted kid, that was also me. But even though I checked all these boxes, it didn't occur to me that I could become, because I felt that I wasn't good enough. It was only until recently, one of my grandmas passed. I had a cousin. She approached me and she wanted to talk to me about it. And through our talk, I had come to accept that I could possibly be one, because I had already accepted, oh, I'll never be like my grandma. I can never help people. At this point in time, I would just be happy if I can keep my family safe. I don't bring them trouble. And I just want to focus on being a good person. Through that conversation, they, like, touched me. I think my kuning or my spirits, they touched me. And oh my God, it hurt so bad. It felt like people were, like, punching me all over my body. I was like, oh, I felt these things before. It's what they say, moninga. And I had that, and I made a promise to them that I would believe in myself and I would believe in them. And it's not going to be like how it was in the past where I was so skeptical. I didn't believe them. And my cousin told me, why is it, because we had a long conversation and we talked about a lot of things, but ultimately it was, why do you believe other people so easily? You're so open-minded to other people, but you're not open-minded to yourself. And I realized that I had hurt my spirits a lot. I had disrespected them, and they have feelings just like we do. They are they're very smart, they're very intelligent, they're just like us. To think that, oh, they're people that like just like me or my family members, and I hurt them that bad, I felt like I can't do that anymore. And because I don't want to hurt them anymore, I decided that no matter what, I will find a way to make it all work. Whether I go back to college, whether I marry outside of the race or whatever, because I am dating a white guy that he is not into any of this stuff, but like he lets me be myself. He supports me, and I was like telling my spirits, just be patient. I will figure out a way. I will make it so that we can make something work out, because I love you guys. You guys love me. They've saved me a lot of the times. I rely on them a lot, whether I want to or not.
Yeah.
I just realized that we're just stuck together. And so it was only within the last, I would say, maybe 2 months that I've accepted that I can walk this path.
Yeah. And like that's not honestly, like I always tell people when I can see why a lot of people don't want to do it. Like I am thankful as a child. I never suspected I was a shaman, but I also did talk a lot of BS about shamanism. I'm very guilty of this. So I didn't think I was like, there's no way. Like it would have been me because I was such a bad kid. Not like your level bad. I'm so sorry to laugh about that. Not your level of bad, but like I was bad to people, living people. Okay, like I did not respect my elders. I always talked back. I always had something smart to say. So definitely, I was like, there's no way I'd be chosen. And for me, it was more of learning that how to properly use the abilities they've given me. So instead of fighting a useless fight, I should be fighting for those who can't fight for themselves. Like that's more of what I had to learn rather than just ready to fight all time. So, so it was definitely, I could see where, you have done this full circle coming around and this growth, and it's not over. Trust me, it's not over, but you have to go through these things to learn, or else you're gonna keep doing what you're doing because you haven't been struck by lightning yet, kind of situations. You haven't become possessed yet. So you keep doing it and you keep pushing those envelopes. So it's definitely, I feel like it's a learning for all of us. We all have to learn. Even for me, I have different lessons that I'm learning now, and they're very effective, but it's made me into such a stronger and better shaman, because so thankfully I didn't Oneng when I was very young, like I was supposed to. I would have totally been taken advantage of by those who had more power than me. And, because when I do meet and know of other shamans who started when they were like 10 or 11, 13 years old,
That's crazy.
I worry for them and their mental health because of the adults around them that will control them. Essentially, you will be controlled. And you will be taught specifically how you should be performing. And you don't ever grow into yourself until you are much older, and by then you don't know what you have lost because you had to go through all sorts of stuff. So I am very thankful that I was able to raise in the way I did. And, it's very hard on Nanging in general. It's a very lonely and hard road to take, because I remember I was talking to somebody and I was like, even though I have a lot of support in my life, which I'm very thankful for, I know though that I'm still alone, because when I Oneng, even if I have all of my Hushas there, all of my siblings there, when I Oneng, I am alone. It is just me and my Oneng, and if I become possessed, I am just possessed today. Like there is no, so like my Hushas, I'm gonna tag them in and my Husha is going to come in, I am just alone, so that's what I mean. Like, it's amazing to have support on the outside, like, especially with you trying to make things work with your boyfriend right now. So it's great to have that support, but you are still alone though, at the end of the day with everything that you're supposed to take care of, so It is so mentally draining. It is very exhausting. And I always start new projects and new business ideas. And everyone always asks, how do you do it all, Tassie? It's because I have my spirit guides, like my spirit team, thank God. Honestly, they really come through for me, So for you, I know that you're still going to have a lot of learning to do still, but I'm super excited for one day when you come to into your own and you finally see everything you're meant for, destined for. So, what advice would you have for others? Like especially anybody who went through a similar experience, would they have a lot of background knowledge on shamanism because they grew up in a shaman family?
I would say that I was really rebellious in my own way. Like, I didn't talk back or anything, but like in my head, I did. And my grandma would tell me these things like, if you do suspect that you're a shaman, don't tell anybody unless you can fully trust them because it's like you said, you can get taken advantage of either by the people around you or spirits or just strangers you meet because my grandma's generation, they're the generation where a lot of them, whether they're shamans or not, people, they did kokong.
A lot of black magic.
Yeah, and you can like steal someone's ning. So that was one of the worries that she was like, oh, if anyone suspects they have it, just like in general to our family, don't tell anyone, or you can only tell people you truly trust with your life. And then also like, it's like you said, you get your freedom. Like, why is anyone making a young child do any of this? And being a shaman is really so hard. I don't call myself a shaman or do anything, but I've been through a lot of things that I'm like, oh, I wouldn't want this for my own kid if I had a kid. I wouldn't want this for my nieces or my nephews. And I just want to tell people to like really discipline themselves. And if you do decide that you want to do it, that's okay too. Then love yourself and be confident with yourself and believe yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're here for a reason and they chose you for a reason. And that's what I had to accept with myself. Like, oh, I was so bad, but they still stuck around. There must be a reason. So you can believe in that. You can start small. You can, if you want to find other things too, that's okay. I had this period of time in my life where I had tried going to a lot of things like Wiccanism, paganism, a lot of that stuff, but I always came back to Hmong shamanism, and I realized that's who I am. I have to be true to myself. So I have to tell people, or I want them to be true to themselves. I want them to just love themselves. Because if you don't love yourself, it is, very cliche, then no one else can love you too. Or no one would know you as well as you know yourself. And if you cannot help yourself, you don't know who you are, you don't know what you're trying to do, no one else has the answer for you.
Yeah, it's true. It is a lonely, lonely, dark road, you guys. And to be a very successful shaman, you have to truly know yourself. You have to know. And when I say that, because sometimes people struggle, what does that mean? Like, like I know I like the color purple. I know I like to eat sushi. Like that. It's about your values. What are you willing to die on the hill for? And what are you willing to let go? And sometimes those values can change as you progress in your journey. Those things can change, but it's so important to know who you are, because shamans get mentally tested like nothing else out there. You guys, like the amount of tests you go through mentally, and it's so hard to share that burden with anybody, and nobody can just come in and take the test for you. It is extremely, extremely difficult. And then we're still trying to live in this modern world and our own responsibilities. It can be very challenging.
Yeah, and then going off of that, you have to take accountability for yourself too. Like for me, or just in general, like say a lot of rules for shaman and for people who become shaman, they cannot hunt, they cannot kill animals. They can't smoke. They can't drink. And if you do, then it hurts you and your spirits, because essentially you and your spirits share one body. So if you hurt your body, like, it's that cliche saying your body is your temple, and if you hurt your temple, then like, what do you have? Like, if your home, you live in a house and say your house is on fire, now your house is gone, where are you gonna go? So it's basically that same concept. That's where the accountability comes in. Having spirits or shaman is really not a fix all. Like, I had to take accountability that my spirits were bullies. I was naughty. I was not a good listener, and that brought me the trouble. That had nothing to do with anyone. That was me. And I have to take accountability. If I did drink, if I did smoke, and I'm like, oh, I feel like crap, or all of a sudden I got this really big health scare, well, then why did I drink? Why did I smoke? Like, you have to take accountability. It doesn't have to be a bad thing to take an accountability. It could be for a good thing. Like, for example, I was told that spirit guides, they don't like kids and they don't like animals. But me, myself, I love kids. I love animals. And my spirit guides, they didn't give a crap about kids. They hate kids. But I told them, I was like, no, you need to be nice to my family. You need to be nice to these kids, or I don't want you. And they're like, oh, you're not scared that you're not going to go to heaven, or you're going to be reincarnated into a pig? And I'm like, you know what? I don't care. Turn me into a pig. I'm not scared. Because I don't think that you guys are doing the right thing hating on these kids. Kids aren't dumb, they're smart. They grow into people. And I'm like, I was a kid one day. Like, back then, you're telling me when I was a kid, I was nothing. Like, they don't stay a kid forever. So I had to take accountability. I'm like, whatever price I have to pay for you to be nice to kids, for you to accept that I want kids, I want a lot of pets, I will pay that price. I will take accountability for that. And you can tell your spirit guides that. You can tell them what you prefer. You can tell them what you like. And if it's not anything bad, like, it doesn't bother anyone, it's really not hurting anyone, you can make these demands of them. About the preference, like, for me too, I had a hard time trusting them. And trust is really big between shamans and their spirits. You could tell them your preferences. Like, I used to have a lot of dreams where I was fighting all these demons on all these panzong, and it was so bad where I consider going to my grandma. But then they're like, no, don't go to your grandma. It's just us. What the hell are you doing masquerading as a freaking panzong? Like, you're scaring me. And I said, I don't like you guys doing that to me. If you can turn into a freaking panzong and to me, you're trying to hurt me, I can't trust you. So if you ever turn into a panzong again, just leave. It just doesn't work for me. Just something in my brain, it just makes me not trust you. And ever since then, I haven't seen them do that again. Or I tell them, like how I asked you earlier, do you see spirits just like, me and you? I tell them I don't like seeing spirits with, like, my naked eye. I tell them I don't like seeing, because I know how they look like. They really do look really bad. Or say, like, a spirit was in a car accident and their body was...
I don't see them like that.
Unfortunately, I see them like that. And I'm like, I don't like that. You better not make me see that. And it's not that I don't see it. It's like, in those scary movies where, say, your curtain's right there in your window, I see nothing, but say you take a camera and you take a picture.
And you see feet or something?
And then you see that. Like, the picture holds the true thing. That's what they do for me. Because I'm like, I don't want to see it. So they just let me know that it's there.
Yes.
And my brain takes, like, a screenshot or a picture, and then I could see it that way, but I don't want to see it with my naked eye.
Gotcha.
So you can, like, make demands of them. You can tell them what you like. You don't have to just go by their whims. Like, you have to be true to yourself. Like, whatever.
And that's what we mean by it's hard when shamans first begin because they're always taught, well, what do your huaring want? What do your huaring want? What do they say? And then later on, they struggle in realizing, oh, but I'm responsible for them. I have to control them. It's not really them controlling me. It's me controlling them because they can be naughty, right? But you can negotiate. And this is what I'm always talking about. Like, you can negotiate with them on what you can and can't do. Some things are a no-go, right? Like my alcohol. But the good thing is I don't miss drinking alcohol. But I will say, because I've been going out with my friends, and I used to drink a lot before I go out with them, and I will say I didn't have a urge to drink at all. Like, and I was just like, and we just went out, and it was totally fine, and I was sober the whole time, and I didn't have a sense of missing drinking alcohol either. But then, like, it is true, but you have to keep in mind though, some things are non-negotiable with your hunting. So you can definitely ask and make sure you try to control them based off of what your likes are. But some of them will not agree with you. So that's how come it doesn't work for everybody. Just in case people who are watching are like, well, that doesn't work for me. Yeah. But I remember one time an ex and I split, and I kept dreaming of this ex. And because they were really upset about it. And then I just told my spirit guides, like, thank you for telling me that he's still upset about it, but I don't want to know anymore, and it stopped. I stopped having dreams immediately about the ex there. So there are certain things that you can negotiate and acknowledge. Yeah. But thank you so much, Changyee, for coming on, sharing all of your stories and experiences. Yeah, it was definitely, yeah, it was so fun to hear, even though it probably wasn't in the moment for you. Oh, anything else you would like to add?
I guess just at the end of the day, don't forget your real world self. At the end of the
Oh,
day,
yeah.
we're all people. We all go through life. As spiritual as I want to be or whatever, I still have to work a 9 to 5. I still
Oh,
have,
yeah.
to wash dishes and all this stuff. And, just do your best to find a balance and don't neglect your own self. Don't think that just because you've been enlightened, that something is just gonna magically work out. It's not like that. You still have to work hard and you still have to find ways so that you can make your life easy so you can live in the real world. Otherwise, if we weren't meant to be born on earth and become humans, then why did we? But now that they've put us here, we've been born as humans, it's also okay to, be a person.
Yep, I definitely agree. Well, thank you so much, you guys. Until next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye, thank you.